Stampers, here's another video for you. Another Christmas themed video. One of the projects that I showed as demonstration at club, just for some different ideas on working outside the box. Not cards at club. We did boxes, gift card holders. What else do we do? Wine glass charms, all kinds of stuff. And you probably saw some of the other videos on the blog and on the YouTube channel. So take a look at those if you haven't already. All the links should be in the post. But yeah, what I'm going to show you today is one of the boxes. So we're going to need the gift box punch board, which is one of my favorite tools. And we're going to be working with a small large box. And what I mean by that is just the lines that we're going to be using. So this is an 8x8 piece of cardstock. And for the 8x8, all of your measurements are here. For the 8x8, you're going to start on the small line and your diagonal is going to be on the large. So you'll see here, this is the size of your box. You see here, diagonal line. And that's what we're going to be using. So small, large. So we're going to put our piece of paper in on the small. I'm going to punch first. We're going to score vertical, horizontal, and then on the large line like it told us to, if my paper doesn't move. There we go. And then we're going to do that 3 more times. So vertical, horizontal, large. Vertical, horizontal, and the large line. You can see that coming together there. It's a good thing I can use both hands with this board, because I tell you, this is not made for lefties. There we go. So we've got all of our scores here. And you'll notice we have divots on one side. So to get the divot on the other side, I'm going to flip, and then we're still going to measure at that small line. Makes it super easy. And then we want our corners rounded, and with the gift box punch board, it also puts a little hook in it so that you can close them up. Like that. You can see the little hook in there. So we're going to do all 4 corners. Oh, my corners aren't going in straight, and I'll show you how I can tell. I'm going to wiggle that around. See, that one's nice and curved. Look at this guy. He's not. Oh well, he's going to have to do for now. But that's why you want to make sure that it's right in that corner. Okay, so we're done with that board. Let's get that out of the way. And before we do anything else, we're going to make some marks on here for a little flap, because let me show you the box we're going to be doing. This is the little gift box. Pretty cool, huh? There's some chocolate inside. So it's a tall box we're going to be using. One of the differences with this box is instead of it just being opened on the top, we've got a little nutcracker here and a little mustache, and we've made a flap so that your candy, of course one's not going to come out now, your candy can come out the flap. There we go. Pretty cool, huh? And then the mustache will hold that flap closed. So we need to make the flap before we start folding our box. So here we go. These are all the same, so it doesn't matter which one you're going to pick. So I'm just going to pick the one that's right up at the top here. And for these boxes, I'll show you the other one that I made too with the Santa. For these boxes, I used the Santa Stache stamp set right here and the mustache framelit that goes with it. Now for the Nutcracker, you're going to want these measurements to be at 3/4 of an inch. If you're going to do the Santa, you're going to want these measurements to be on the inch line. There's a little bit difference. He's got a bigger beard, and you need those measurements to hold the box closed and give enough of a flap to put the bottom part of the stamp on there. Okay, so we're going to do a Nutcracker today, so we're going to work with the 3/4 of an inch, and you'll see what I mean by that in a second. I'm going to need a ruler, and we're going to go on this top flap here. So along the horizontal line, right in the middle of the box, I am going to make a little pencil mark at 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So we have the score lines for our main box flap, so we're going to go to the side here. So this is one of the main score lines, 3/4 of an inch on the right, 3/4 of an inch on the left. And now we're going to go up along these score lines, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the 3/4 of an inch. Not as much room on that Nutcracker as there is on the Santa. He's only got a little tiny neck piece, whereas this guy has the big beard. And that's what we need to make room for. Okay, so what I've done is with my 1 3/4 circle punch, I've cut out a circle. Doesn't matter what color it is because it's just scrap. It's just a template. But you're going to use this circle to line up your 2 pencil marks. Give that a little bit of an arch. There we go. Perfect. That's out of the way. And then I'm going to take my ruler and join across. Easy peasy. I'm going to use my cutter. And this is my flap, so I've turned it, this is the way we were working on it, I turned it to the side. I'm just going to fold this guy down, this top flap, just so that I can butt that paper up against the flat edge. And now what I'm looking for, I'm going to move my cutter until it's on this score line right here. And when I put this down, I'm going to move my paper over until I can just barely see the pencil mark on the left hand side of my guide right here. I can see that pencil mark. I'm going to make a little bit of a cut and pick that up. Okay, so now I've got a cut right there. I am going to use my scissors and cut along where that circle was. Those round marks right to the edge. Perfect. So now I've got my full flap cut out. Easy peasy. Now what I'm going to do is fold all of my score lines that the box board maker gave me. Fold all this, just be careful your little flap here. There we go. Perfect. And now when I bring these 2 straight lines that I just folded up, that diagonal line should fold on its own. And this is a box, I did this one right with you on the video, so you're seeing this, this is a first time fold, so it really is that easy. Just give this little piece a pinch here, and then you can fold the bigger part of the diagonal. Give that a little pinch. Perfect. And then we'll fold down our tops. And we're good to go. So now what we want to do is put this guy together. And now this flap is going to take a bit of a beating, opening and closing, putting candy in, that sort of thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue this a little bit. So I've got a little bit of my Tombow glue. And I'm just going to put some of that Tombow just above the arch there. Okay, I'm going to close that up. And see, this is the front. I'm going to hold it against this side. So I'm going to take that flap and push it up against this side. Okay. I'm going to take my stapler. And I'm going to staple. I'm going to go all the way down and staple. Okay, so that'll hold that together. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. A little bit of Tombow. Fold that over. And then I'm not going to attach it to the front, I'm going to attach it to this side of the box. Fold that flap down, push the stapler in as far as it'll go, and staple. Pretty cool, huh? It's coming together. Now we've got 2 more flaps, and I want those on the sides as well. I want these out of the way so that my candy will fall perfectly and it won't get caught anywhere. So this side, I'm going to fold, and I'm not going to put it on the back, I'm going to put it on the side here again. So I'll have 2 staple marks on each side. So I'm going to go all the way down and staple. So I've got those 2 flaps out of the way. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this guy. Fold that over. Stapler goes all the way down. So I've got 2 staple marks on either side of my front. You can see that flap already, and this is clear. so my candy is not going to get caught on anything. These two flaps I'm going to fold over, not going to attach. These top two are the ones that I'm going to hook together. They've got the little grooves in them. So I'm just going to set that down on the table. I'm just going to wiggle those together. Sometimes you need to push them a little bit. There we go. Oh, it did bend. There. Hook around each other and keep that closed. Now with this guy, I tied him with some of the Lost Lagoon ribbon. This is the All Is Calm paper pack, and I colored my nutcracker with the same colors. And this is the Lost Lagoon ribbon, so I've tied that over top. Now when I put the candy in this guy, he was already done. I didn't want to take it off. Now this ribbon is not stuck on there. I could just slip that off nice and easy. But I just popped my candy in the mouth and then pushed it all up to the top and then closed it up. So that's what you can do with this. So you could glue this, you could staple it if you want to. It's not on this one, but you could if you wanted to. So we're all done, our cute little box. And now we're gonna decorate it. So let me see. We're gonna need some DSP. And we're gonna need 3 sheets of it. I didn't cut this in advance. We're going to go 1 3/4 wide. And this is the Nordic Noel DSP by 3 1/4 long. I knew I forgot to prep something, and this was it. Love this Nordic Noel DSP. Some really bright colors and some really cool patterns. Not something I would have gravitated towards, but I love it now that I've seen all the different patterns. So I'm just going to use some snail on these. And the reason I wanted the DSP is to cover up those staple marks. So we'll get that on there. I'm going to put one on the back too. You don't have to. There's nothing on the back to cover up, so you can keep that blank if you wanted to. It's completely up to you. Cover that up. And now what I've got is one of the nutcrackers. So what I did with this guy, took some Whisper White and the Memento ink, and I stamped my nutcracker. I don't have all the blendability, so I went with the Stamp and Write markers, but you can use the blendabilities if you want to, and I just pulled out all of the colors from the DSP pack. The Garden Green, I used the Blushing Bride for his skin tone because I don't have the skin tone blendabilities, which would look awesome on this if you've got them. Calypso Coral, Soft Sky, Real Red, and Baked Brown Sugar. So these are all the colors that are in, let me see if I can pull this out, the Nordic Noel Designer Series paper. All the same colors, which is perfect because everything will coordinate. So I stamped him, colored him, and then you'll notice when I cut him out, I left his mustache. We don't need the mustache on the stamped image. So this guy's all colored with the right colors for the DSP, and you'll notice that I cut his collar off so that you've got 2 pieces, okay? And then with my glimmer paper and my mustache framelit, which I love, I cut out a stash for him. So what we're going to do is put these guys together. Now this guy, we're going to start with the top. I'm using Tombow. I don't want this to go anywhere. This is a package that is going to be used. It's going to be touched. It's going to be opened and closed. You might be reusing it to put more candy in once all the candies are gone. You want good adhesive on this guy. So I've got Tombow, and I put his stash right up against the lip of this opening. Okay? I'm going to use a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals on his mustache. I used them on the first guy that I made, this guy. I've opened him and closed him a bazillion times, it seems like, and haven't had any problem with the Stampin' Dimensionals. So I think it would be a safe adhesive to use, but feel free to use whatever you would like. I also like to give it a little bit of dimension as well. So with this guy, I want my flap closed. I'm going to put the mustache on, and that stash should cover your crease line here, your cut line, because you want that mustache to keep him closed. That's going to be your little lip to keep the candies inside. Okay, so there we go. And then what I want to do is put a little bit of Tombow on this guy, his collar. And then I'm just going to line that up underneath. Easy peasy. There you have it. I'm going to let that guy dry. I'm not going to touch him anymore. But this guy is nice and dry. So you can see this opens, and you've got, whether it's Smarties or M&Ms, or I got these guys because they were wrapped, and sometimes I like the wrapping on something people are going to be touching. Especially since I took this one to club, I knew people would be touching and opening and feeling, so I wanted the candies to be wrapped. But now you get an idea of what it will look like when it's all done. And here's the little Santa that I did. So again, you're going to need 1 inch here instead of 3/4. Put some dazzling details on his beard and on his hat, but same principle. You want to cut his beard off and the sides of his mustache so that you've got 2 pieces, and then the mustache is a separate piece. So same idea for the Santa as for the Nutcracker. You just need 1 inch on the Santa and 3/4 of an inch on the Nutcracker. And there you have it. There are the little candy boxes. How cute are those? Very, very cool. I'm using these as little gifties this year. I hope you like the tutorial. I hope you love the box, and good luck making your own. And I'd love to see some of the comments. Post some comments on the YouTube video and whatnot. I'd love to see what you guys make or hear what you guys make. Yeah, you can put some pictures on my Facebook page as well, the Stamp Bashallon. I'd love to see some of the projects. So happy stamping and happy holidays.